Tonight, we have news from Age of Overlord being 6 brand new cards to the Horus series of cards. Now, these are actually 4 that are based off the 4 sons of Horus, and they were a group of deities in ancient Egypt religion who believed to protect the deceased in the afterlife. You have Imsety, Hapi, Duamutef, and also this one, which has been translated to Qebehsenuef. So this one was the only one that changed, and this one, I'm not going to even pronounce it at all, so we're going to go here. I'm not even going to bother with that. So let's get into it. First off, we have Imsety, Glory of Horus. It's a dark level 8 spellcaster effect, 3000 attack, 1800 defense. You can only special summon this card through its first effect once per turn and only use the second and third effect once per turn. So sarcophagus of the king is going to be Pharaoh's sarcophagus. If you control a Pharaoh's sarcophagus or sarcophagus of the king, you can special summon this card from the graveyard. Send 2 cards from your hand to the graveyard, including this one. Add 1 sarcophagus of the king from your deck to your hand. Then you could draw 1. So you're discarding another card. So that is actually very interesting because it helps fill up your graveyard, which I really do like. And, well, 3 cards actually. So you're filling up your graveyard of what you need to summon back these big guys from the graveyard. And it's very good because it gets going through your deck. I really like that. When another card you control leaves the field by an opponent's effect, while this card is in your monster zone, send 1 card on the field to the graveyard. This is actually a very good card. But only downside is you need Pharaoh's sarcophagus, sarcophagus of the king, but that's absolutely fine. Next up, we have Duamutef. It is a level 8 water beast effect, 0 attack, 0 defense, so there could be only 1 can be ran in this deck. If you control sarcophagus of the king, you can special summon this card from your graveyard. You can only special summon Duamutef, Blessing of Horus, once per turn. This way. It gains 1200 attack and defense for each Horus monster you control. And if you control if another card you control leaves the field because of your opponent's card effect, you can draw 1 card for each monster type in your main monster zone. You can only use this effect of Duamutef, Blessing of Horus, once per turn. Another card that allows you to draw equal to the amount of X on the field. So this is like a full for hire or even runic fountain type card, but honestly with a deck like this it's definitely needed. Next up we have Hapi. Hapi is the guide of Horus. It's a level 8 wind beast warrior effect, 2400 attack, 1600 defense, and you can only special summon this card through its first effect once per turn and use the second effect once per turn. If you control sarcophagus of the kings, you can special summon this card from your graveyard. When another card you control leaves the field by your opponent's effect while this card is in your monster zone, you can target 2 cards in either player's graveyard or banished, either add them to their opponent's hand or return them to the deck. So you could just target 2 cards in your graveyard alone or banish and put them back to your hand or shuffle them back into the deck. This is really good to cycle back your sarcophagus of the king. I really do like that. It also is kind of an interruption, but actually it is an interruption, so that's actually very good. I cannot wait to see what this happens to do. And finally we have Qebehsenuef. It is a level 8 earth winged beast effect, 2500 attack, 2000 defense. We have 3 types that you can run tri-brigades with. I might have to tinker around with tri-brigade Horus now. If you control sarcophagus of the king, you can special summon this card from your graveyard. You can only special summon Qebehsenuef, Protector of Horus, once per turn. This way. If another card you control leaves the field because of your opponent's card effect, you can activate this effect. This turn, your opponent's monsters cannot target Horus monsters you control for attack. Also, your opponent cannot target them with effects. You can only use this effect of Qebehsenuef, protection of Horus, once per turn. This is really good. These cards are actually really good. I might have to definitely test around with them. Pure or Tri Brigade for sure. Next up, we have King or Sarcophagus, or the King or Pharaoh's Sarcophagus. It's a continuous spell card, and you can only use the second effect of this card once per turn. As long as this card is in your spell and trap card zone, Horus monsters you control cannot be destroyed by effects that do not target themselves. Okay, so non-targeting destruction is going to be really good. Send one card from your hand to the graveyard. Send one Horus monster from your deck to the graveyard. Huh. And once per turn, at the beginning of the damage step of a battle between your Horus monster and your opponent's monster, send your opponent's monster to the graveyard. This stuff is really good, and being level 8s, you can do quite a bit of stuff with them. Oh, let's get on to the last one. This is Guardian of the Canopic. It is a continuous trap card, and once per chain, when your opponent activates a card or effect, you can special summon one Horus monster from your hand or graveyard, but for the rest of the turn, you cannot special summon monsters with the same original name as the summoned monster with this effect. If this card is sent from the hand or field to the graveyard, you can set this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. You can only use this effect of Guardian of the Canopic once per turn. So essentially, you can discard this off of Imsety and just set it back to your field. This stuff is actually really interesting, and I love history. I love ancient Egyptian mythology and all of that, but this stuff is really good, and honestly, I cannot wait for this. Age of Overlord might be the set that I come back to the game 100% full power, because so far Age of Overlord has had a lot of cool stuff so far, out from this to Zark. To be honest, I could definitely see this deck taking place in the meta if Runic and For Hires definitely get a little touch up, if they're still very popular, because I know Runic is still popular enough. But I hope you guys did enjoy, and I will see you guys in the next video, and goodbye.